Alright, the stream should be started now. Let's take a look. Are we live yet? Or has the system said we're live yet?
Not quite yet.
Alright, well, we will continue to chatter. So we've got a guest with us today.
Ooh, and who is our guest?
I don't know. Who's our guest?
We can't introduce our guest. Not
until
the thing has done its thing.
Not until
Why is it taking so long?
I do not know.
The past few weeks it took quite quickly. I'm just gonna go back and come back.
Okay.
Yeah. Sort of.
Alright, it says that we're live, so
I am sure we are live.
hold up. I will.
There
we go.
See, I told
Alright,
you.
so would you like to put it up and we will do our usual introductions?
Just 1 second, gotta let the thumbnail load.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Alright. So, is everybody ready?
We are now. We are ready now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Weekly WAYPN. I'm Cal.
And I'm Sunny.
AKA
Sangita and Henry.
And we have with us
James.
James!
How you doing, James?
Good. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, how do you like cake, James?
Not that cake.
That cake would taste terrible. So
It doesn't look the most appetizing.
this is a work in progress shot of me making the Krieg style base. So, and you'll see it evolve, but I just wanted to show you guys the steps involved because that's what we're about here on WAYPN, showing things grow and evolve rather than just the instant showcase. Speaking of the instant showcase, we're going to skip over this one after we read it out and wish our young John some good luck. Would you like to read it out for us?
Yes. Heading to a painting competition with these pieces. Wish me luck. Update: the bust was in the open category and could not win anything. Magnus won a silver award. Everything else won gold in its respective category. No
Nice.
best in show trophy, but I'm still really proud of how I did. Oh, you should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, out of everything you got, like, most of it gold. Like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, James, just tell us what you think of this one, and we're going to quickly move on because this is not what we usually do on WAYPN, but John has showed us how he's painted quite a few of these.
I did not actually know they had updated it, so it was nice to see that
Yeah,
he
neither
won
did I.
gold and silver in certain areas. As I think he did a great job with Magnus and the Nurgle piece. They really screamed like, yeah, I can see how he won that stuff, and great job to him. And
Yeah.
he deserves it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm really proud of him. I'm really glad that we've got somebody on WAYPN who's bringing home the bacon, so to speak.
Bacon winner.
Yes, winner,
It-
chicken dinner.
It's breadwinner, but this is a bacon winner, right? This is. Am I correct?
All
I
right.
agree with Henry. It should be chicken.
Chicken winner.
All right. Next up, we've got Larry Hassenflu.
Yay, Larry! Ask and Ask and ye shall receive. Yes, the fence was made by cutting down some thin stirring sticks with an X-Acto knife. So I think he's done something here. What has he done?
So you see the Halloween cover. This
Yeah.
is a Halloween cover for a DVD.
Yeah.
And remember, last week we talked about him being on. Oh, there's one other thing that I forgot to check to see if there was anyone here.
Yes, I will also.
So so he took out one of the photos from the back of the Halloween cover and photoshopped his miniature into there, which is very cool. I think that's very fun. But I also like Cruz's comment here of perfection. What do you reckon?
James? Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I'm really impressed with how he photoshopped the image into the thing, and like, there's only small details that would tell me that's not actually supposed to be there. That's definitely a thumbs up more than most people do, or at least I do. So yeah, He looks very snug, and it fits the Halloween case quite well.
You know, I think if he just had have added the fuzz, like you said, you know, like
The
that's the
noise, add a noise effect on it.
yeah, it would have fit perfectly.
Yeah.
All
Just
right,
a little bit of noise.
let us move on. So, as per tradition dictates, I must read out this one. Henry Graham. And here we go. Can you tell which are my photos and which are Sonny's? Are you kidding me? A blind man could get a mute to tell you.
I took the ugly pictures. These are all Henry's hard work pictures. Am I right, honey? Yes?
She's the worst. All right, James, tell us what you think.
I like the little commissar hat on the Vox Speeder on
Oh,
his
I love
shoulder.
that.
It just adds more story to it that makes it stand out a little bit more. And the no offense, but like in one of those pictures, it looks like he's chewing on a carrot as opposed to a cigar.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
I can see what you're saying there.
Uh,
Oh yeah, in this side angle, because the orange kind of takes over and the shadow is very matching with the skin, it kind of does look like a carrot
I
on
guess.
first glance.
But he's actually a special character. That's why he's got the commissar hat. So, oh, Nort Deadog is his name.
Not
And
a dog.
and essentially his thing is, right, he's meant to be a bodyguard, but he's such an idiot that he'll always run off and do things instead of protecting his commissar. Like, for example, there's one story where this commissar gets bitten by a tyrannid, and of course, instead of killing the tyrannid, he's like, "Oh, I'll save you," and he pulls the commissar out of its mouth, tearing him in half.
Oh
yeah.
no.
So that commissar there is a servo skull telling him what to do, because they can't risk things.
Can't be trusted anymore.
And this is my photo, very washed out, but that's
it's nice. You can see all the details.
and that's the base that I did before
Nice
a bit of
trench.
cleanup. But yeah, so we will move on. And next up, we have Gareth Higgins.
As suggested on the WAYPN Roundup, separate posts for separate things, vehicular scenery for Marvel's Crisis Protocol.
So we see him go through the whole process. So tell us, James, what do you think of the way that he does things and, you know, the whole process sort of thing?
I wish my car looked that nice and clean. No, he's done a wonderful job. It really adds like there's all the little details of layers that add
Mm.
additional detail and just really adds to the color of it. I would want to ask him like, what are you going to put on a number plate? Like, are you going to put like a real number plate or something funny? Because I imagine it'll be sitting on a battlefield or some. He's going to use it for something. But
Oh,
yeah,
it's
it's like
for Marvel Crisis Protocol. No, we're going through a Crisis Marvel Crisis call.
Crisis, yeah.
That's our current life. But yeah.
mm,
Oh, look, no, it does look as
Oh,
if he's got a number
dude.
plate. So
Look
it's
at
something
the
New
way-
York.
Look at the
New
way
York
he's done the headlight.
Yeah, no, I think
Oh,
it's very impressive.
wow. I love the
and it's
Toyota.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look close, I'm pretty sure that orange bit is meant to be a Statue of Liberty. So if
Yeah,
he's
it is.
hand
Is
drawn
it?
that, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
here, let's see how close
How
we
come
can
you've
get.
got? What are you looking at? Well, how come you see all those pictures and mine is just the one picture?
What do you mean? Oh, it's on his post. So scroll
Oh,
down on
is
his
it?
post,
Yeah.
and you'll see all
there's
of the
more there.
comments. So
Oh,
in
okay.
each of the comments, he explains how he does each of the pieces,
Oh, I really
which
love
I
it.
think is really good. Like, what I would really love to do is have you guys, you know what he needs to do? He needs to do it like this, and then post again, right, where it's those series of images. So you post this one first, or like maybe even like a proper photo, you know, shot of this one. So I'll back out a bit. like a proper photo shot of this one, like the ones that we do, and then the images, and like, because I think the thing is, he does such good work here, right? Like, you take a look at it, as you said, James, it's very, very clean. And I think if it wasn't for these car, if it was for something else, like this level of cleanliness would be off.
Yeah, because
But
the cars are very pristine in the paint job and the
yeah,
lines.
yeah, yeah. Especially modern cars, right? Like this one. It's not just a car, right?
Yeah.
It's a modern car. Um like if he had the very last photo first and then he goes through each of the steps. I know he is going through each of the steps in the replies, but see the thing is um for me, the thing that I'm thinking about is how to sort of sell this, because he is actually telling people how to do this whole process, right? He doesn't just say, you like, this is the WAYPN spirit, right? But I sort of want to sell it more, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so
Yeah.
good, because he comes in, he's like, first I do this, then I do this, then I do the next bit. And like, you could follow this step by step, and I'm sure that other people could get, you know, the same level of quality, right? And like, what he really needs is a website. Just put this stuff up there, because it's that good, in my opinion.
Got a Facebook page.
Well, yeah, it whatever it is, right? Because I think that it's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
Maybe a blog spot.
yeah, but I think if he put it up, so for example, going back to my one here, just imagine instead this first image is, if it's going to load, are you going to load? Yeah. Imagine this first image here is the finished image, and right here it's like Marvel Crisis Protocol car, finished, and then there's like step one, step
Yeah.
two, along the way. I think that would help a great deal for him, because like it would help teach people. And like I said, I think Gareth has really embraced the WAYPN spirit, showing
Yeah.
his whole process.
I really like seeing all these sort of whips.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think anyone that gets to play Marvel Crisis with this guy or this Twain would be having a wonderful time.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
100%. You're spot on, James. All right, but I think I've given enough praise to Gareth. You, you got too much paint smudged on your paint thing. Yeah, there you go.
That's the critique.
Yeah.
There you go.
So, next up, we've got John. Would you like to read out?
I think this one's done. Just 4 more to go.
All right, James, tell us what you think.
Well, as the resident Black Templar expert, I would have to say he hasn't done the best job with it. Oh, wait, it's not Black Templar. Okay.
It's a Dark
Dark
Angel.
Angel.
But I can
Yeah.
see how you would confuse it with the Black Templar.
So I think a lot of what we said before, like the black is still too black. Like there's not enough of the
Visual
grey.
breakers and stuff.
Yeah, so I can see some of the grey when I zoom in really close. You see that sort of smudged line,
Yeah.
but the line needs to be more defined, and the white is still too white in my opinion. And like, I think just cleaning up a bit is the main thing that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a bit hard to tell when the wash hasn't fully dried and it just...
or if it's an oily sort of effect.
Yeah, so it's a bit hard to really judge it, so... But yeah, I have no other comment on it as well.
Do you have anything to add, James, or should we move on from this one?
I think he's done it. It's completely happy for the table. Like as long as
Yeah.
he's happy with it, it would look
Yeah,
fine on the table.
For tabletop, I think it's fine. Like, but I would really like more of those key identifiers. So next up, we've got Larry Hassenflu.
Yay, Larry! So what would you do? Had a really nice white cape painted up and was working on the body and... I think it's meant to say and other elements when I needed to check a detail and found that the cape is supposed to be black. Looked online for other references and the cape is always black. I'd like to keep the cape because it took me a while and I like the result, but I also want the figure to be accurate. So what would you do? Keep it or repaint it?
All right, James, what are your thoughts?
Well, I can fully understand him wanting to keep it comic book accurate, and in his regard to wanting to keep the cloak white, I would say do whatever makes you happy. If you want to keep it white, go with that, but go ham with it. Like, think of it as not an adjustment that you've made to the costume. Think of it as okay, in this version, he's wearing a white cloak. So then, like, what else do I change that would match that?
Yeah, no,
So just like go forward with that.
that is a good way of thinking about things. So for me, I really, really like the white cloak.
Yeah, it's a very nice contrast to the black.
Exactly. That was
black
what I was going to
costume.
say. But please continue.
No, that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say.
Yeah. No, so I think it's a great contrast, but I do think that there is a lack of any other visual colors here. So we've got some warm bricks and some cold, I don't know, floaty effect. I'm not sure what you'd call
some sort
this.
of a fog, like whatever foggy
I'm
cloud.
so we'll
Black
go to the
Adam rebirth.
so it doesn't really make it any clearer in this, but I do think that he himself, the character, needs some coloration. And like if you want to do those yellows, I think that could be
Yeah,
really nice.
I think that'll just basically add to the final look to look a bit more closer to the character.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you might look at it and go, you know what, it's not so bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I do believe this is a work in progress, so like I don't think
I
it's
was, I
bad.
was
Yeah, go James.
I was going to say that it does look like he's still working in progress, so I'm sure we'll see it improve over time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Like that's what this is all about. So, next up we have Joseph. Would you like to read out for Joseph just a little bit because there's a lot here.
I'm running out of other colors to paint and I want your input. What color should the scarf or shawl or cloak be? His bracelets and dangly coin things will be an old weathered gold, darker and dirtier than his head.
So, I voted for red, and I think the red looks good, but I don't think the red looks vibrant enough when I look at it.
I feel like in contrast to all the other muted colors, it works.
I guess. What do you think, James?
I'm slightly horrified because when you first showed me that picture, I thought it was a rib cage, and now that you've zoomed in, I've realized it's hands.
Oh
Yeah,
So that's something I
this
need
this is
to
the
work my
curse
way
of
through.
this is the curse of Kingdom Death. Like, at least it isn't a whole lot of wangs or boobies.
Yeah, I think there are some models that are just all wang and booby.
Yes, yes, there are some.
Well, I really like how he's done the cloak and robes. Like they really scream to me like royalty colors,
Mm-hmm.
as they would make me think just by looking at him that he's some sort of noble or royal,
Mm-hmm.
but not exactly like a well-respected one, or at least just based off the colors he's chosen. And I really like how he's done the skin color. It's that like maybe baby white like lightness of like fresh skin almost, which makes it even more unnerving of a
Oh yeah,
supernatural.
the
Yeah.
the Kingdom Death stuff is always just absolutely the best for keeping things going. Hey, it's Sergeant T. I do not know when Sergeant T has come in. I should.
I think only just recently because I checked the chat only
Okay.
a couple of minutes ago.
But yeah, we hope you're doing well. We are looking at disturbing things because that's what we do here. So I just think that it should pop a bit more. Like keep it within the red spectrum. Do not go into the orange hue. But yeah, just I think that it could pop a bit more. Maybe it needs a lot of deepening with the shadows.
Sergeant T's got a comment.
Mm.
Kingdom Death Mini is nightmare fuel. I like how he's going vibrant over grimdark.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, I think that vibrant can be its own kind of grimdark, but I do believe sorry, we'll wrap up there and we'll move on to the next thing. So Davith got very excited, and I do believe Suddenty, you had either a comment on this one or on another one. I remember seeing you, but there was a sea of comments when we were looking on those things. So many comments on some of them. All right, so Sunny, would you like to read out some of this?
Okay, so I've just finished watching Henry and Sunny's breakdown of the design evolution of the Space Wolves, and I thought I'd drop in my 5 cents. So, a bit of personal backstory. I adore the Space Wolves and have ever since the 3-part article in White Dwarf towards the tail end of the Rogue Trader era that introduced the Sons of Russ as we know them today, with blood claws, grey hunters, and long fangs representing the aging process as Marines progress through the chapter. Should I read on?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. As well as this is a bit hard to read. Okay.
Oh, that way it is a bit harder, yeah.
Okay. As well as the eccentricities of the canine helix that differs them from other Astartes. As a result, I collected wolves on and off through. Sorry, it's just a bit hard to read. And off through to my taking a break from the hobby around 2009. When I came back, I avoided GW for a time, but would still kit bash Space Wolves for funsies, as they offered such a canvas to work on. Honestly, only Deathwatch are more of a treat to bash Marines together for, and it was kind of relaxing. And then got it in my head to return to the short story written by Bill King that accompanied those original White Dwarf articles and depicted a mass to drop assault and build a force to match that spirit, led of course by Ragnar Blackmane himself. Should I continue?
I think we'll stop there. Otherwise, we'll have a serious dent in the review. But yeah, no, it's obvious that he very much enjoyed our thing. And it would be nice to be able to go through all of it, but we do have other people to get to and so on. And I think this is what you see some of the time, just how passionate people get about some of these things.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good, because this really like, I don't like when people dint other people's passions.
Yeah.
So I remember a friend of ours was she was just absolutely ranting about bees for like a straight hour. And like, usually I'm a talkaholic, but I just shut my mouth there, because like she was really enjoying herself, and like, I think it's good to be passionate. But that being said, James, as an outsider, is there anything that you want to add, or yeah?
Well, I've always enjoyed the Space Wolves in the lore, so I've always found that like level of mysticism, but also ferocious like Viking warriors I always love. I'm really enjoying these pictures where he's clearly shown what he's gotten from what, and the Space Wolves are amazing types. You can always kind of tell that they're Space Wolves when they're on the table, which is a big enjoyment. And yeah, looking at that like whole army together, it's always enjoyable to see a full Space Wolf army, painted up.
Well, let us move on to the next one, where we have even more Space Marines. So, would you like to read out?
Yeah. More coming in, putting in some lights and darks or something.
Okay, yes. So he's just doing the initial framing of the model. I think that you want, if like you're going to put colors over this, you want to hit your high notes a bit higher. So currently you're just hitting grays, which is fine, but you're going to want to put some white within those grays, and that will really help them pop a bit.
Yeah, I think that'll I agree with that as well.
All right, so next up we have a tragedy.
Oh.
Are you ready to read out?
It's Larry. Fair warning / PSA. Apparently, some modeling clay will cause some plastics to melt. Okay. Put what I thought was drying out silly putty on a figure as a mask, then realized later it was a bit of clay I left out. Figured out, okay, it'll work. Airbrushed the next day and it came off clumpy, not in one piece.
Yeah.
Parts touching the plastic were gooey and stringy, and I realized it was the plastic coming off, gooey and sticky. Like I had put plastic cement on it. But never stopped being like that until I used soap and water. All the primer and zenithal was lost, of course, so I redid that. But damage done. Gonna finish it because the coat still looks good, but the front is gonna have to be battle damaged. Lol. First picture is after removing the clay, and the second shows it cleaned and reprimed with a rough white dry brush to see details. Third picture shows it before the damage, and the fourth shows the cloak after airbrushing. It's not a good time, Larry.
Just hurts my soul. Do you have anything to add, James?
It does hurt to look at it, but I have to give him massive props for saying, you know what, this is not a write-off. I'm going to see what I can do with this. So props to him for willing to continue with it just to see what he can recover from the project.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be very demoralized after that. Like, I can understand why he's so upset. Well, next up, we've got me.
It got you.
Yes, so it's Member Monday, and one of the things that I said in this Member Monday is I quoted Jean-Paul Sartre, and he says that hell is other people, but see, the thing is, when you say that, you also imply the opposite, and heaven is other people as well. And I think that we've got our own little slice of heaven here. I know it's not that impactful, but I think it is nice to have a place where you can have some quiet away from the monsoon of life. And you can know that it's just going to be about hobbying. There's not going to be anything else.
Nonsense. No funny business.
Yeah.
It's stress free, y'all.
And then next up after that, we've got James. James, would you like to read your comment?
Thank you. I wanted to add to my collection. Looking forward to painting some miniatures with the new Army Painter Fanatic range. Can delete if not allowed.
Oh, it's
fine. And as I said, you're all G.
Yeah.
So these ones are all new. Have you tried any of them yet?
Not as much as I would like. I've only tried two of the main war paint so far and the metallics.
So
have you enjoying it?
Have you done a direct one-to-one comparison, like what do you call it? The so doing how is that? Doing a like the old color versus the new one, or have you just tried them out?
I suppose I could do that, but I was kind of thinking that like most painters on YouTube have already done reviews like that of comparisons, so I'll do it if anyone wants me to, but I didn't really come up.
It's not about whether a YouTuber's done it or anything. It's because like
different people will have different experiences with the exact same product. And I think when someone's just a regular Joe goes out and, gives it a shot despite what people say, whether it's positive or negative, and then they take the time to mess about with it, and then they figure out certain things, and they get a more in-depth look into, like, what actually works about it and what actually doesn't work, and maybe there's certain workarounds, like it works better on certain things. And I think just a regular person who's not a YouTuber will be able to get into the nitty-gritty of those sorts of
information. The thing is, we just like your opinion. WAYPN would like your opinion. It doesn't have to be like a scientific breakdown. It could just be like, I like the old one more, or I like the new one more, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Because,
Like,
yeah. The,
well,
go?
yeah, I can go if you want. Yeah. Well, the wall paint fanatic range is a massive improvement over the old wall paints from Army Painter. Just everything I've tried to do with them is like it just flows or operates better than the
Mm-hmm.
old stuff. So I happily say they've made a massive improvement over that. The surprising thing, the special effects and the metallics I've had like the easiest time with. Like I've had problems with other brand metallics. What I found with these ones were like exactly what I wanted it to do. So I almost like want to buy all the metallics just because it's like, oh, this is so much more easier than other metallics I've had.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
effects, I would definitely recommend testing that before you put it on a base. Not saying they're bad. I just found it did not operate how I was kind of expecting it to.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
one of those things where it's like once you know, okay, this is how these work, then you can go forward and be okay. This is how I do it. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend of with the effects of just testing them out so you know how they operate before you put them onto a model base. And the wall paints are a massive improvement over the old range.
Mm-mm-mm. Well, let us move on. But yeah, it is good to hear your feedback because the thing is, I think for a lot of people, what they want to hear is not some whiz bang YouTuber. They want to hear somebody that they know,
Yeah.
and like they're like, this is a real person. This is someone that I can
Yeah, like
trust.
if James says it, then maybe it has to be true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because you have no affiliation with the company, there's no
yeah, yeah, yeah,
background. Like, people might say that they're not sponsored, but everyone has their biases and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Exactly.
But yeah. Oh, it is Nicholas Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
Finished my Punisher today. Pretty happy with the result. Tried to get a 5 o'clock shadow effect by using a watered down null oil, but not sure it turned out.
All right. So, tell us what you think, James.
I think this is a wonderful Punisher image. Like, I just look at him and think that is the Punisher, and he's done a wonderful job. The army camo pants, I know that that's something that most people don't really think of. Like, like that's one of the things where I'm like, you obviously spent a lot more time than people would think doing those pants, and it's worked out really well. And the base with the bag and the basing that he's done, it's like it suits this miniature wonderfully.
Yeah, no, I think it's got a lot of nice storytelling within it. I think it's very good for that. So I want to take a look at his, he's trying for 5 o'clock shadow. So I think some of it looks like there's maybe this is meant to be a scar here, or I'm not sure if that's a deformation of the miniature. But the thing is, the way to get a 5 o'clock shadow is to mix your hair color with your skin color and glaze it over slightly. Right? Now, you can literally just stipple it on, but in my opinion, that's.
A bit harder than it looks.
I think that's dancing with the devil. Like you're going to be like either you're going to turn out a fool or the goat. Like there's no in between on that. I much prefer the mixing with your color to get that change. I'm not sure if I've got any that I can sort of look at off the bat because I don't think I've got many with 5 o'clock shadows that I've done recently. But yeah, so the only thing that I would say about this is the skin feels very orange to me. Like maybe that's just this screen. Can you take a look at your screens and
Well, if you
tell
feel
me
it's orange, mine would look extra orange.
what about you, James?
It,
Is
it
this
looks like a 80s tan, like how you have what's that lifeguard TV show?
oh Baywatch?
Baywatch type of skin. What do you think?
Oh, so tanning salon tan.
Tanning salon tan.
But yeah, James, tell us your thoughts on the color of the skin.
I can see where you're coming from. He definitely looks like he's got a orangey tan kind of thing,
Yeah.
but I just put it down to some of that comic book inspiration or foreign country idea. I could imagine this guy with that skin color right next to Arnie in the first Predator movie.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
got them.
No, I guess that's true, but for me, that's the only criticism I would give. Like everything else here, I just absolutely love. Like that's the only criticism that I really have to give. Like the eyes are a tiny bit off, but I never give people a hard time for eyes because eyes are always
Difficult.
that's one way to put it. All right. So, next up, we've got Joseph.
Yay, Joseph. 3-day weekend is almost over and I've made good progress. I started work on the last non-modular game piece from the Gambler's Chest and finished the king.
Jeebus.
I got in the zone for flesh painting his scarf babies.
Yes.
So went on to do the brushworks on the Gambler's one giant ball. Oh, yeah. With that done, the Gambler is a lot less intimidating. I'm not overly happy with the king's base. I've taken to filtering basing materials through a tea strainer, and in the case, it's left too much open space, a little too uniform, and it looks odd. I've got to stop straining for large open areas. I've nothing else left on my painting tray, so tomorrow I think I will build a Black Knight. Gotta have the next project primed before I finish the current one, so it's ready to accept paint right away. Yep.
All right, James, tell us your thoughts.
The baby bowl.
I agree with him about the base. Like it would be a completely fine base if it was normal model, but considering I'm looking at someone with babies as a cloak, I can see why he wants yeah, not I guess it is a criticism, just something more on the base to make it like keep in theme with that horror aspect. Though that like I highly doubt the base will be the first thing people look at when they're looking at this model. So
mm,
yeah.
mm. Well, yeah, I think it is quite open. It does match a lot of the other bases that he has. There is some flat areas, which I think is the major problem, right? Just the flat areas. But I'm not sure what he could or should add.
I was thinking like maybe some sort of a footstep trail of blood, or like a little bit of a trail of
Okay,
blood
but
coming from
let's
I don't know.
so let's take a look at the current picture, right? The one on screen. Imagine there was a trail of blood, like you still wouldn't see it from this side. Let's ask the audience, Sergeant T, and anybody else watching, what would you change? Because I look at that, and the only things I can think of is like, I think this is one of the few ones where you really want the stone face insert bases for this guy.
Oh yeah.
Because, like, I think it's fine with most of the ones that he's done to have this more sort of plain sort of thing. But I think this having that more grandiose base, having that more, just absolutely mad base, I think that.
Would match the theme of the model. I would
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So give me a second, guys, and I'm gonna see if I can find a stone insert face. Insert base even. Insert base. While you guys discuss.
Yeah, I think that would be it. I wonder how his giant ball of people turn. Let's see. It seems like he's just sort of base coated it currently.
That was one of the things I was gonna
wouldn't
comment on.
honestly. I think the best way to approach this. Oh, Sergeant has a marble base or ruined temple. Interesting. Yeah, that might be good.
Yeah, a marble
You could
base.
do a ruined temple because like that base is already a good foundation for that, and you
Mm.
can just add like a bit of pillars here and there, or something.
Yeah, no, that could work.
Because like he's bringing his victims to some sort of a ruin hideout area where he like performs whatever ritual that he's about to do. I think that adds to the story.
So I'm gonna see. I've got the thing up, but I'm not sure if it will allow me to bring this image up. So I'm gonna just end on this bit for him. So we'll see if it'll take me there. No problem. So, like, I think this would be really good for him. So that's the largest base that you get for the stone bases and stone face bases. And, like, I think him walking over that would be very suitable.
Yeah.
Because usually I do like his more plain bases, right? I call them plain, but like they hit every single one of the things. But I think this is one of those few times where it's just like, okay, this just hits. But I think we have commented for long enough, and these babies are anatomically correct. If you've noticed that.
Yes.
But yes.
Got a baby scarf going.
Yes, and I did want to say, that in my opinion, I think they need some definition.
I think you could just go over with a flesh tone wash and be done with it.
And we found somebody. We found somebody to talk with.
Yay! It's you.
It's not as if we desperately reached out to everybody and started crying.
Yeah.
Anyway, James, it's your turn. You get to talk, James. All right, would you like to read out for your post?
I would, but I'm looking at your screen.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Sorry, there we go.
What I'm painting Wednesday, just an update. Still have lots to do before they finish. There's no official paint scheme, so I've been coming up with it on my own myself. And if you want, I've posted an updated version of them up there, so we don't need to spend too much time on these guys.
We can take a look, and then we can see what more you've done. So, what more have you done since now?
Not as much as I would like. I've really just done a bit of bright green dry brush over a lot of the other miniatures. Is like the two that you see in the front, the most green, and that's what I've done over all of them. I wanted that dark green as a base, and then I've like either dry brushed or done a lot of thin and swipes of the paintbrush over the other one to kind of like I didn't want it to be completely bright green, but kind of have that planty kind of like some areas dark, some areas bright kind of stuff, and I think it's working well.
Yeah, no, it certainly looks interesting. They certainly look like some sort of alien creatures. I think the only things I've ever seen with them is done in like fleshy tones. So yeah, I think they're looking good. It's just very unusual. The Nemesis stuff is very unusual in general. But let us move on. So next up, Alex Coe did this. So Sunny, could you read out that and some of the comments?
So I'm getting one of these, but I'm torn between them all. Which one would you all pick?
So there was two that I would pick. I thought that this one would be good for OSL.
Yeah.
And this is the other one that I really liked. But James, of them, which did you really like?
Well, I'm kind of a preference of I'd want to know what you're planning on using them for. If he's like just wants something to paint, I would definitely recommend something that he's not done before or what feel like he would push his skill set. But if he's looking at something like for an RPG D&D game or something, definitely something that gives you a broad overview. So yeah, I think they all look amazing. I think it's just I'm one of those people that would ask follow-up questions before I could give you a definite answer of what to pick.
I really like the Halstead.
Halstead, all right.
However you say his name.
Let's see. Is this him? Halstead?
Yeah, Halstead.
Yeah, I think he looks interesting. But yeah, I like seeing this because what we see is the process from the very start, even before the beginning. It's like, I'm thinking of grabbing a bust and blah 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 and just discussing things and going from there.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. Now, speaking of interesting, Next up, we've got Douglas Evans, and I think this is a part of that huge diorama that he's been showing us, and like we see like that tattooed lady and
Yeah,
a bit
yeah.
of a dragon and everything else. Would you like to read it out for us?
Okay. Putting in some more work on this huge diorama from Black Forge Games. Worked on the floral patterns today. What's everyone else got going on? I think the way that he's done the sort of gradation between the pink, purple, and the blues, it almost makes the embroidery look like it's got a metallic sheen to it. You know how embroidery has a bit of a sheen to it, and I think he's really captured the fabric's texture in this one.
I think it looks quite nice. But James, tell us what you think.
I agree with Sunny. It's like an amazing level of detail that he's done, and he hasn't just done one color. He's done either multiple layers or different colors over it, and just like it's unnaturally realistic to me. Of like it looks like he's got real fabric there, kind of thing. It looks
Oh
amazing
yeah,
of how he's done, and you only really see all the details until you really look close.
it looks truly fantastic. Just next level. I have to say that I am extremely impressed with it. And like the thing is, you can tell by the fact that the child remains unpainted that this is just a step. So he is absolutely smashing it. And like I think once it's fully complete, it will look amazing. And I sorry, I had to laugh because Joseph says in the final picture, that's some Silent Hill type stuff. She has a paint pot for a head. Spooky.
I laughed at that comment as well.
Yeah, but we'll move on. But I think, yeah, just I'm really impressed with it. And as tradition dictates, I will read out for myself. It's Whip Wednesday. Hashtag Whip Wednesday. I'm a little bit late to the craze for another week. We've got a lot going on here at the moment, a lot cooking in the background, but here's what I've been working on. What are you painting now? Question mark. And so, James, as the guest, it is your solemn duty to mock me.
Well, you could do a better job with the base. I mean, like she's standing up off the ground, and
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, I want
but
to hear
no,
more.
in all realism, like it's a wonderful job. I really like how you've done the fur of both miniatures. Is they really pop out and catch the eye. It like
Thank you.
gives me that feel of a fantasy setting, and yeah, I think you've done a really good job.
Mm. And Sunny helped with these bases. She defined the white and the black lines within those. So they're worked on a bit more after this. So we'll have another look, and then you'll go. Oh well, Sunny, what do you think of the fox? Because
I really love the fox because he looks like, well, I think it's a she actually, considering the necklace that she's wearing.
what are you saying? Men can't wear necklaces?
Not a necklace that fancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I turned into a fox, you wouldn't give me a necklace like that.
No.
You
I'll
broke up
give
with
you
me in
a
a
thick
dream,
gold
so
chain.
I'm gonna
Give you a thick
try.
gold chain and a really high hat.
Sorry, say again, James.
If you don't mind me asking, on the other miniature, does she also have a necklace? Like, is it meant to be two different people, or is it like,
Is it like a
yeah?
transformation?
Oh, you're right. You're right. It is a transformation thing. I didn't
Oh
even notice that.
gosh. But I didn't even see her wearing a necklace when you
So
painted it.
we gotta we'll go
have to
in with the
paint it.
next one when she's fully finished.
I didn't see her wearing.
You know
a
what, right?
necklace.
James, you're right. And it is time for another Joe R. Sutton adventure. Shall I read this?
Yes.
I think I should. Good day, all. Yes. It's been a little time. So I have made a thing. I have been away on holiday too. Oh. This was for a competition on the gram. Don't ask what that is.
The Instagram. But...
Yes. Shh. No one must know. Alright. I was asked to make, paint, or draw something the artist had already done. I was going to do a diorama of this picture. I made one model from this. I started by stripping an old dreadnought. Ended up not using that at all. And totally scratch building from my bitbox. Enjoy!
Of course, he totally scratch built from his bitbox and ditched the
dreadnought.
the box, the whole dreadnought. Yeah, it's like that's for losers. Only winners do it from scratch. And then he's like, "Oh, look at me."
All right. Well, James. Tell us what you think of this Joe R. Sutton adventure as we go along. You can narrate. Oh Jesus, look at that.
Props to him for looks like building something from scratch. Like I'm having a hard time deciding what to look at first. But I imagine once you've like got a base color down and it's looking more well put together, it starts to come together. Like it definitely looks like a Nurgle Chaos war
Yeah.
machine. So it definitely suits the theme
So
more than
he keeps
Games
going,
Workshop.
keeps going back to that one. Oh yeah, it's coming
Oh.
to life a bit.
I didn't know you'd painted it.
So here we go. Yes, Joe does long adventures, and we see things come to life. So it seems like he used a lot of Tyranid bits for this, because like even those down there, see those dangly bits off his gut thingy? Those are Tyranid venom sacs. So we go back, reference the picture again, so we can sort of see his process, and I think this is it all done up.
Wow.
So here we go. We'll go back.
It all comes together once you prime it. Then it's just like it looks like something right out of a sprue, maybe.
Yeah, he's done a good job of making the metal got that light. It's machinery that still works, but it looks very grimy and somehow still working.
Well, see, the thing that impresses me the most is the claw, because with the claw, I look at that and I just think to myself, like, you can tell that this claw works somehow, but yeah. So I think we should probably move on from this one. All right. So we are going to move on to the next piece, and so I'm going to read out this time.
I will be right back, everyone.
All right. Whip Wednesday. Chaos Noise Marine. Very early stages. Trying out colors. The name makes me think David Lee Roth. So animal pants. I'm not sure whether leopard or cheetah or what. So he's chaos. I don't care that he's gaudy. Wasn't sure what to do for the colors until the Rogue Hobbies signature set came out. What I've had is everything from the set on it. Every time I look at this, I feel like, what have I done? I'll get it figured out, but no rush on this one. My goals are simple. A. David Lee Roth. B. Bright, loud, and chaotic. C. Annoying song. Whole service. Yes, of course. So, James, tell us your thoughts.
Well, I hope he had a lot of fun painting this miniature because it looked like he had a lot of fun just playing around with the colors. So I hope he enjoyed himself. And yeah, it definitely. I don't know much about the Noise Marine, sorry, so I don't really know what they are supposed to look like. But yeah, it looks like a nice, fun combination, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he'll do with it.
I'll look that up while you comment. And also, I'll just read this out because it seems that Sunny has been skipping over you, Sergeant T. I apologize for her lack of etiquette. But yes, while she's not here, I'm going to rag on. So, the idea of being grandiose and decadent. Oh, those faces look great for sure. So yeah, but yes, please continue, James, on your commentary while I find the traditional noise marine.
Well, I'm sure it's not what he was going for, but like as listed one of his what he wanted to accomplish was the annoying. And I'm like, I can imagine a number of Warhammer players that if you put down an entire army painted like that, it would annoy them. So you've probably done a good job like that, just thinking about some of the so-called purists that will annoy. So props to you for getting that done.
So this is what they look like on the Games Workshop website. So one of the things that I noticed when I was taking a look at your cheetah patterns is they're just straight black. That's one of the things that was my first notice. So I think with that, you're gonna want to put some other color over the top of them. Usually, I think it would be easier to put the black on the edge of those, so like that's going to be a difficulty. I think once you do, like, what I would probably do is a heavy black wash to kind of unify these and then build each of them up, cuz it's going to be difficult. It just seems to me like it's going to be a very long process to do this guy. Like when I look at him, I I just see a lot of work, to be honest. I think that the big black boots, that works. I think that the cheetah pattern works. I think that all of the different colors can work, but it's really going to depend on how you unify them. That's going to be the core thing here. I think, but you are looking at a lot of work. That's what I'm looking at. All right. So next up, we have John. Now, would you like to comment on John's picture, James?
Well, I'm no expert, but I think that's a custodian
Yep.
of the Imperium. I'm sorry. Did he do this picture himself,
Yeah,
or
he
did
did.
he get?
He
Ah,
drew it.
okay. A wonderful job of actually he's got like little detail in there that like really highlights what it is over normal space marines, and his staff is like really prominent, which is in a good way. He's highlighted the correct areas that you want to be looking at and given all the detail to tell you what you're looking at.
Mm. Well, the thing that I particularly like is this is quite stylized. The way that he's done the plume, I think that that looks really good. I think that the way that he's done this symbol right here and the way that he's done the symbols along here, you get a real feel for the definition of them. You feel that they're not just painted on, but these are sculpted, right? I don't think that the gem effect has come through as much, right? I can see the sheen of the gem, right? But if you don't know how people paint gems, I don't think that people get that. But like, I still think that all of the rest of this looks really good. The other thing is, I think you could have a more strong, like, sheen line along here. Like, a lot of what's really good about this is the definition of each of the pieces. So we see the arm brace here, right? We see each of the pieces distinctly separate, but I think when it comes to, for example, this cloth guard here, right? I don't think that it is as well defined as it could be because it somewhat blends into the armor up the top. You can't clearly see it as a different material. So, like, that's one of the things that I would work on. I think that what are these things called? I forgot what the halberd bolters are called. They've got a special name, but I think that they're really good. So Sergeant T also has some comments. He says, "Great, the shading is good, and it goes all the way to white. He's a shiny boy." Yes, he is a shiny boy. To be fair, you know, the custodies are very shiny boys in general. Um, I think that, yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that's really well done here. So what I would work on is the cloth, you know, and like making sure that the materials are a bit more defined. But what I think he's done absolutely brilliantly is the way that he's defined each of the features. So the way that these chest features are defined, the way that this has a different material feel from the rest of him, the way that the bolter is defined, I think all of these things look absolutely fantastic. But I think we're going to move on from now unless anybody has anything extra to say. You got anything else to say about this one, James?
Nope.
Yeah, no, I think it really looks great, and yeah, I hope that the commentary is helpful because I think that his pictures are some of the best stuff. So here is where I have done some more work. So it's Throwback Thursday. I have nothing to throw back to, but here's some stuff that I got done last night. All right, James, it's your turn to shine.
Well, as a Terry Pratchett fan of the Discworld series, I always approve of any sort of ape or chimpanzee miniatures that I see. So yeah, I really like this little guy. It's a nice little figurine, and the fact that you've obviously put him on an alien world with the basing
So
being really enhance.
I'll explain that basing. So that basing, he's on a place called the Blackstone Fortress, and
Yep.
you remember the bases that you saw before. So they're
Yes.
both on the Blackstone Fortress, and he is a very very advanced mechanic. He understands technology beyond that of what humans do, but apparently they get drunk a lot there. So that's that's a thing. But next up, we've got the lady, and you're right, so you can barely see it on this angle. And I built up way too many leaves, but the client liked it. I'm like, oh, I put too many leaves down. They're like, it's perfect, perfect. Don't touch it. I'm like, okay.
I can see where he's coming from. She definitely looks like a young woman having a wonderful time, like running through the forest in the autumn with all the trees on the ground. It's like, yeah, it adds to her personality and emotions in on the miniature. I find with that many leaves.
Mm-mm. But I'm gonna see if zooming in will show that same medallion because you were right. She does have a fox form, and then finally, it's the big guy who's been painted for a little while, and finally he's on his own base. So, what are your thoughts on this guy?
Typical ogre of the Imperium. He looks good. But I don't really know how you convinced an ogre to put on a gas mask and not immediately tear it off. But yeah, you've done a good job with the muscle definition and the scratching on the metal. Obviously, shown it's been war damaged and it's not brand new. And yeah, you've done a great job with giving his clothes and armor that battle look of like used in plenty of battles,
Mm,
which really adds to him.
thank you very much. So there is one thing that I wanted to show people. It is not her. It is right here. So you guys said that there was a bit too much major freckles around here. So I tried to remove some of the more major freckles. And yeah, I hope this is up to your guys' standards now. And I hope it actually looks a bit more natural now. So yeah, there is that. Um, but I wanted to point that out because other people did mention that, and I think that they did have a point. And I try and listen to your guys' feedback as well. And I will ask Sergeant what he thinks as well. Um, and I'll move on to the next one, and we will do that. It seems that Sunny is in some distress. 1 second. And now we shall move on to the next piece. All right. So, this one. All right. Whip on my Mr. Sinister. I don't tend to paint minis and sub-assemblies. It would be a nightmare to paint his not pictured cape otherwise. I can believe you. All right, James, what are your thoughts?
I can also believe that as someone that watched the original X-Men cartoon,
Oh yeah,
and
there's a
shout out to the
there's a new
new
one out, isn't there?
yes, yes, as based on it's got the same voice actors and
Oh,
it's meant
does
to
it?
continue on. Yeah,
Oh, that's
uh,
nice.
yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and yeah, it's like as someone that can easily picture the cape that he's talking about, I can see why he painted that separately. It would make such a big hassle if he like put this all together and then started to paint. And
Yeah,
he's done a wonderful job. Like this, you just know this is Sinister straight out of the gate. He's done a wonderful job with it.
I
It yeah.
I think that the way that he's done the skin is really good. The way that he's done the subtle highlights along here, so you can see the highlights within the skin. I think obviously the mouth is not done yet, but the other thing that I wanted to bring attention to is just how much he defined the abs. See, the rest of he's got black lines in here with a lot of the other things, but he really made sure that the abs were very well defined, and that's one of the things that I find happens a lot in these comic book shows, that the abs are defined beyond reason. So I think he did really well with that. I think it looks similar to, I think he's blanking on his name, Russian metal man, Colossus.
Colossus.
Yeah, I think it looks similar to that, but not as shiny. So I think he's doing a good job. Or that may have been someone else. So next up, I'm going to see if Sergeant said anything. I remember the freckles. I like the reduced intensity now. Thank you so much, Sergeant. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that I went along the right path on that. So next up, we've got Tomez, I think is how it's said. All right, how do I say this last name? Mikalski, Mikalski. Tomez Mikalski. I'm not sure on how to say it. Please do not murder if I have mispronounced. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. Usually Sunny is the one with the pronunciation. Dreadnoughts seems to be the thing that's making. Oh, you're back just in time to pronounce a name that I am failing on.
Okay, 1 minute, please.
Yes, Dreadnoughts seem to be thing made especially for me. It is the Space Marine, tanks, and mecha in one thing. Shipping mostly done. Now it's time for details and finally bonding everything together with rust and dust. Can you say this one's name?
I think it's Tomasz Mikulski.
Hooray! I did it right.
Yes,
I did it.
you.
Woo! No, I actually did do it right.
Is that how you pronounced it?
Yes, I struggled my way through.
Yeah.
Oh, would you like to abuse me for 5 minutes?
Well, sure, why not?
Because we did this one. Do you want to make a commentary on either monkey?
Why the monkey finger so long, huh?
Because he Jokero.
Okay. Then why his eyes so big?
Because he Jokero.
I see. Why is this fox lady so underdressed?
Anime.
But because of anime.
Ah. Okay, finished abuse.
All right. We will now move on. Oh, also asked Sergeant Tate about the reduced freckle amount, and he says that I have done well.
You have done well.
All right, so here we go. Would you guys like to comment on the Dreadnoughts?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just scroll my. Oh no!
How
Did
about...
I miss the noise marine?
You
post?
did.
Aw.
James, would you like to comment on the Dreadnoughts while Sunny finds her place?
Yes, as I remember the dreadnoughts being less armored than this, so this must be part of the Indominus Crusade.
No, I think
new
this
models.
one's an old model called a Ironclad. So they're a special type of dreadnought, I believe. But yes,
Okay.
continue, please.
Well, I always am a big fan of the fact of like what you've painted or the base tells a story. So I'm assuming
Mm,
this is some sort of close combat ish or anti tank dreadnought, or he's done a wonderful job with the like little stubbling. I don't know if that's the correct word of like
chipping is what it's called.
shipping, thank you, to the miniature. At first, I thought the base was meant to be set on some like black rocky planet, but I can see now that he
It's
obviously just hasn't gotten around to it yet.
yeah, not yet.
But no, he's done a wonderful job of showing that this is like a battle worn on yeah, dreadnought that gets the job done, but can't can't stop all those like little bits of bullets and
Mm.
stuff hitting it.
So, Sunny, your thoughts on him?
I would say that's the thing that also sort of caught my eye was the texture of the chipping and the metal. Like clearly,
Mm-hmm.
it's a very nice, smooth airbrush finish that he's got with the blue tones,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
very lovely and very nicely done. And I like the choice of that gunmetal. It kind of ties in with all those sort of blue tones, and you got that nice warm orange just to bring attention to the center of the dreadnought. And yeah, I really like how you've got the ultramarine symbol there, but it's just all chipped up and you can just barely
Yeah,
see.
that was one of the things I was going to comment on too, but please
Yes.
continue.
So I think he's done it. Like he's got what he aimed to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
All right, so there was one thing that I wanted to comment on here, which I thought was the best thing, was the way in which he's done the chipping along here and along here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's covered up by
Rust, is it?
No, I was worried it was covered up by the chat.
Ah.
But see right here that the way that it sort of comes in, it looks quite naturalistic. The way that that chipping works. Over here, you can see it to a degree as well, but I think on this one in particular, the way it stretches along this corner, it seems very, very natural. And the way the chipping's done here, it does seem relatively excessive, but I think once it's all brought together, like it will look absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that I just love the way that he's done up the chipping. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and I'm glad to see very different types of the way that people have done up dreadnoughts and other vehicles. Like some people have gone for the heavy chipping, and on this very thing we saw, the it wasn't Larry, was it Garrison?
Gareth?
Gareth? Yeah, with the car, and just
Yes.
seeing like the absolute difference between these two. You've got one where it's just pristine, and then you've got this, and I love seeing that contrast on this page.
Yeah.
Seeing that there's people who will go one way and people who will go the other, and both look great.
Yes, I agree with that. I think the only thing that I would point out is that he sort of missed a spot with the purity seal on the shoulder.
I think it's still a work in progress, so
Yeah.
we'll see more done. So next up, we've got Andy Dickinson. Would you like to read out for him?
Okay. This evening's effort, Baron von Fancy Hat, is pretty much done, at least for now. He needs a base, but I'm not sure what to do for that yet, and made a start on the skin of Friar Flavius. But that has a while to go yet. Both models are from Moonstone.
All right, James, what do you think?
Well, I hope he takes this as a compliment, but when I look at those two miniatures, I think it's like they would be perfect for some sort of puppet or animation Blackadder skit.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? The Blackadder, yeah, no, they really
Yeah.
do seem like they could fit in something like that, don't they?
Yeah, like if I was watching some Blackadder puppetry show and this guy showed up as one of the main characters, I would fall in love just based on that. He's done a wonderful job of giving him enough color to really show what the fashion of the timeline that he's going for, but it's also got that weirdness of thinness of the legs and arms that make me feel like it's a comedy. Like
Yeah.
he's either going to stab someone or insult them.
Yeah, well, I think it would be very humorous if they were both there because, like, he's stick thin, and then we've got this guy who is,
Friar Flavius.
he's Cartman-esque in his portrait. Like, he is quite rotund, shall we say?
Rotund indeed.
Looking at him, I'm just like, oh my god. And I think, imagine him next to that guy, and it does seem quite comedic.
It does. It does.
But it is a work in progress, so we will go on to our last one, which is you, James. Would you like to read out?
Yes. Just a quick update on my current project before the Friday review goes live. Got my bright green done.
All right, so I'm going to do a refresh while we talk about these. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about them?
Well, as I said earlier, there's no official paint scheme for these guys, so it was pretty much left up to me. And I had this wonderful inspiration from a little game called Fallout New Vegas, where if for anyone that hasn't played it, there's a lot of browns and blacks and blood in that game because it's a wasteland video game, and that's what you get used to. But then you come across one location that's just overflowing with green and plant life and naturey
Oh,
colors.
I know the one that you're talking about. Yes, because
Yeah.
I have played the game. But one thing that I would like to talk to you about, right, is currently the what would you call this? Honey burgundy?
Yeah, it's a bit of a burgundy color. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you really want with the green, because you've got the blue and the green are both quite vibrant. I think that what would be very good for this is a super potent magenta to contrast against the green and the blue.
I
Where
was
would you
actually
put
thinking
that?
of dry brushing in those areas with either some sort of purple or
Yeah.
warlock purple color to make them stand out a little bit more.
It'll look like a Venus flytrap sort of theme after that, I think. Yeah. I think you should
Something
do a
like
dry
that.
brush of some bright magenta.
Yeah, my idea was something that's bright and colorful that is in theory meant to take you off guard, and then when you get close, it's actually incredibly dangerous.
Yeah,
So yeah, like yeah. uh,
that sounds like a good concept to me.
Well, I do believe that's it. So, James, we will, as with each guest, is there anything that you would like to talk about in the wargaming community that you feel isn't being talked about?
Oh, way to put me on blast there. No, I don't think so. Though that knowing my history, maybe if you ask me that tomorrow, I'll probably have thought of something in the middle of the night. It, but yeah, at the moment I can't think of anything. And so thank you
Well,
very much for the invite.
if that's the case, tell us what you're playing and why you love it.
Well, right now I'm currently really enjoying my board games,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been having a great fun with the Zombie Side board game that I've been posting pictures of.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out once you get all the miniatures painted, a lot more people want to play it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. That's fantastic
yeah.
because that was an amazing effort that you put into that because um when you did up all that, in fact, I'm gonna look that up right now while I've got the cover on, and we'll take a look at that because that was absolutely amazing, that effort that you put in, because there are so many miniatures. How many miniatures were in that?
Um, the two boxes that I've painted so far, the total is about 154. Or
154. Nice.
I do have a minor box left over that I haven't started yet. That's just filled with like another 18 miniatures more. I'm gonna get that done
Is
probably
is that an
the end of the year.
extension box? Like, sorry, a supplemental
Yeah,
box? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
It's specifically a supplemental.
so what's that one for? What additional units do you get in it, or whatever it is?
The Spider-Man supplemental. So it's a lot of the Spider-Man villains like
Okay.
Mysterio, Rhino, Green Goblin,
Oh, I
Sandman.
think you showed a start on some of these, didn't you, at some point in time? Or
Probably, yeah.
it might have been someone else though, because a lot of people are doing some of the Marvel stuff. But
Yeah.
with that said, thank you so much for joining us, and to everyone else, keep those brushes wet. Bye
Bye bye.
bye.